Hello students. Today we are going to start the second chapter of geography, that is interior of the earth. Have you ever thought what lies beneath the land where you live? What is there in the interior of the earth? The earth, our homeland, is a dynamic planet. It is constantly undergoing changes inside and outside. What is earth made up of? Let us begin our exploration to learn about the interior of the earth and the materials forming it. So let's study about what is inside our earth by studying about its various layers. Now, talking about the layers of the earth, just like an onion, the earth is made up of several concentric layers with one inside another. From a space, the surface of the earth looks blue and cool, but actually inside it is very hot that rocks get melt. The temperature in the interior center is over 5000 degrees centigrade. On account of this extremely high temperature, it is not possible for us to study the earth's interior directly. Our knowledge about the interior of the earth is based on seismology. Now, seismology is the study of the behavior of seismic or earthquake waves measured by the seismographs. Now, over here in this figure, you can see the various layers of earth. In this figure, the topmost layer is the crust, which looks blue because of the huge amount of ocean present on the earth from the space. Then comes the red hot mantle, followed by the very hot inner and outer core. The centralmost, the deepest part of the earth is the core, which is divided into the outer core and the inner core. Now in this figure you can see it in more detail. First, the topmost layer, the very thin layer, it is crust. Then there is mantle. Then the outer core, and the centralmost part is the inner core, which is the deepest part of the earth, and it is the hottest of all. Talking about crust, this crust is the outermost or the uppermost layer over the earth's surface, and it is the thinnest layer. The crust forms only 1% of the volume of the earth. Out of the rest, 84% consists of the mantle and 15% makes the core. The radius of the earth is 6371 km. The earth's crust is about 35 km on the continental masses and only 5 km on the ocean floors. The main mineral constituents of the continental mass are silica and alumina. It is thus called Sial. Si stands for silica and Al stands for alumina. The oceanic crust mainly consists of silica and magnesium, and therefore it is called SEMA. Si stands for silica and Ma stands for magnesium. Crust's temperature varies between 30 degrees centigrade at the surface to 1100 degrees centigrade at its deepest part. The crust is broken up into plates that move. These plates are called lithospheric plates. Now here is the figure of continental and oceanic crust. Now over here you can see the oceanic crust, the lithosphere, upper mantle and the continental crust. Now just beneath the crust is the mantle, which extends up to a depth of 2900 km below the crust. The upper mantle contains pockets of molten material called magma. It is a mobile, semi molten layer over which crustal plates can move. The inner mantle is entirely solid. It is a transitional layer of mixed metals and silicates. The average temperature in this layer is 2200 degree centigrade. This means that the temperature in this layer ranges from 1100 degree centigrade to 3600 degree centigrade. Now coming to the next point, that is the core. Now core is the innermost layer with a radius of about 3500 kilometer. It is mainly made up of nickel and iron and is called knife, where Ni stands for nickel and Fe stands for ferrous, that is iron. The central core has a very high temperature and pressure. Now this is the zone which accounts for Earth's magnetism. Now over here in this figure you can see the fiery mantle of the Earth. It looks somehow like this. It's very hot. And in this figure you can see the core. Over here you can see the molten iron and nickel, and this helps to create magnetic field to protect the planets. Now do you know that the deepest mine in the world is in South Africa? It is about 4 kilometers deep. In search for oil, engineers have dug a hole about 6 kilometers deep. Now to reach the center of the earth, which is not possible of course, you will have to dig a hole 6000 kilometers deep on the ocean floor. So these are some very interesting facts. Now let's come to the next topic, that is rocks and minerals and various types of rocks. Now the earth's crust is made up of various types of rocks. Any natural mass of mineral matter that makes up the earth's crust is called a rock. Rocks can be of different color, size and texture. Rocks may be of various types and may be formed in different ways. They may be solid and hard like granite or marble. They may be loose materials like sand or silt. They do not have definite chemical compositions. Minerals are naturally occurring chemical substances. They are inorganic in nature. They have definite chemical composition and certain physical properties. Now talking about various types of rocks, there are three major types of rocks, that is igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. Now all these rocks differ in color, hardness, size and texture. These variations can be attributed to their origin, that is the process of their formation. So let's first talk about the igneous rocks. When the molten magma cools, it becomes solid. Rocks thus formed are called igneous rocks. They are also called primary rocks. There are two types of igneous rocks, intrusive rocks and extrusive rocks. Lava is actually fiery red molten magma coming out from the interior of the earth on its surface. When this molten lava comes on the earth's surface, it rapidly cools down and becomes solid. Rocks formed in such a way on the crust are called extrusive igneous rocks. They have a very fine grained structure. For example, basalt. The Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt rocks. Sometimes the molten magma cools down deep inside the earth's crust. Solid rocks so formed are called intrusive igneous rocks. Since they cool down slowly, they form large grains. Granite is an example of such a rock. Grinding stones used to prepare paste or powder of spices and grains are made of granite. Intrusive igneous rocks are divided into further two categories. One is plutonic igneous rocks and another is intermediate igneous rocks. Plutonic igneous rocks are formed deep below the crust and granite is its example. Intermediate intrusive igneous rocks are formed at intermediate depth and the example is dolerite. Igneous rocks are used for building purposes, for constructing roads, making grinding stones, etc. Valuable minerals can be derived from igneous rocks. Now, let's talk about the sedimentary rocks. Now, over here in this figure, you can see the formation of the sedimentary rocks. Now, rocks roll down, crack, and hit each other and are broken down into small fragments. These smaller particles are called sediments. These sediments are transported and deposited by wind, water, etc. These loose sediments are compressed and hardened to form layers of rocks. These types of rocks are called sedimentary rocks. For example, sandstone is made from grains of sand. These rocks may also contain fossils of plants, animals, and other microorganisms that once lived on them. Now, over here in the figure, you can see in the first figure that eroded sediments are ending up in the water and are beginning to settle. This process is called sedimentation. Then, with time, more layers pile up and press down the lower layers. This process is called compaction. And further, when more layers and further compaction occurs, it forces out water of the layers. Then salt crystals glue the layers together, which is called cementation, and rock mass is formed, which is called the sedimentary rock. Now, when the sediments are deposited, animals, plants, and microorganisms get trapped within these layers. They are preserved as fossils. This is a unique characteristic of sedimentary rocks and is very useful in the study of the past. Now, large deposits of dead plants and animals trapped within the sediments get changed into coal and petroleum over long geological periods. These are called fossil fuels. Now, talking about metamorphic rocks are formed due to the effect of heat and pressure on existing rocks like igneous and sedimentary rocks. Now, the physical properties, appearance, and chemical composition of the new rock is much different from the original rock. These rocks are very hard. Some example of such metamorphism or transformation are like granite changes into gneiss, sandstone changes into quartzite, shale changes into slate, and so on. The word metamorphic itself means changes formed. Two very important building materials, marble and slate, are metamorphic rocks. The slate is used to make blackboards, chalk used for writing on blackboard, and graphite used for making pencils are metamorphic rocks. Now over here in this figure you can see the formation of metamorphic rocks, how the pressure and heat are being put to form the metamorphic rocks. Now these are some igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic rocks. Among the igneous rocks there are granite, diorite, felsite, basalt, and obsidian. Among sedimentary rocks, there are conglomerate, sandstone, shale, limestone, dolomite. In metamorphic rocks, there are slate, schist, serpentine, quartzite, and marble. Now, let's understand what is a rock cycle. Now, the rocks that form the Earth's crust undergo a continuous process of change. They are continually destroyed and remade in an endless process. This is called the rock cycle. As you very well know, that when the molten magma cools, it solidifies to become igneous rocks. These igneous rocks are broken down into small particles that are transported and deposited to form sedimentary rocks. When the igneous and sedimentary rocks are subjected to heat and pressure, they change into metamorphic rocks. The metamorphic rocks, which are still under great heat and pressure, melt down to form molten magma. This molten magma again can cool down and solidify into igneous rocks. Rocks are made up of different minerals. Minerals are naturally occurring substances which have certain physical properties and definite chemical composition. Now over here in this figure you can see the whole rock cycle. Talking about minerals and their uses and their importance, as I told you earlier also, that minerals are naturally occurring substances which have certain physical properties and definite chemical composition. Now, some of the minerals are used as fuels, some are also used in industries like coal, natural gas, and petroleum. They are perfect examples of the fuels which are used by us. And if we talk about various minerals which are used in industries, then iron, uranium, gold, etc. are used in various industries. Now, quartz is used for making glasses, diamond is used for making jewelry, hematite is used for making art, and several usage are there for iron also. So, the minerals are used in different ways in different industries. So let's have a recap of this chapter. The Earth's interior is made up of three distinct concentric circles: crust, mantle, and core. Crust is our home, the outermost layer made of lightest material, forming continental and oceanic crusts. Mantle forms the biggest part of Earth's volume and is made of molten rocks. Core is the densest layer made of iron and nickel that is responsible for Earth's gravity. There are three major types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. Igneous rocks are formed by the solidification of lava. When the weathered rocks segments are solidified, sedimentary rocks are formed. The rocks under heat and pressure are metamorphosed to form the metamorphic rocks. Rocks contain substances of definite chemical compositions called minerals that are useful in various industries. So students, this is it for this chapter. Have a thorough study of this chapter. If you feel there is any kind of problem in this chapter, you can ask the question in the comment section below the video. Thank you.